Hey guys, it's Tessa. So, of the mini videos I am filming this week, I am also filming, as you can tell, my Make 9 video. For those of you who don't know, it's kind of like this thing, I can't remember exactly who came up with this idea. I'll note it below or I'll note it down here somewhere. But basically, essentially this is me planning out the projects I want to make this year, and fingers crossed I actually make those projects this year. So for my Make 9, it's gonna be mostly projects for me. Secondly, my Make 9 is kind of broken up into two categories, technically three, but for now just two categories. It's going to be all of my like needlework stuff, so knitting or crocheting, and then the second Make 9 is all of the sewing stuff I want to do this year. I'm not sure when this video is getting posted in the lieu of videos I'm filming, but I recently also filmed essentially the clothing, it's called a capsule wardrobe video. I just finished filming that a couple nights ago, and that's really gotten me in the mood, as you'll call it, to kind of figure out what I want to do for next year and what exact projects I want to focus on and do first versus like which ones I want to put on the sidelines temporarily and so on. I'm also still working on the Daft Days cardigan, which essentially is like the first piece for that line of projects, unintentionally. But essentially for my Make 9, for my sewing was where we'll start. Most of it, I don't know what fabric I'm using. I don't know when I plan on making this or anything like that. This is mostly just like some projects that I want to work on, essentially. If you see me looking over to the sides, because that's where I keep my notes. Because I cannot remember most things. So, for sewing items, one of the ones I've talked about in that capsule wardrobe video is the Autumn Stays by Meadow Patterns on Etsy. So I purchased that pattern. I'm pretty sure, just looking at some of the other finished projects under that pattern, I'm likely going to have to extend the length of it a little bit, which is no biggie, I don't really mind. Just for the way I want it to fit properly, I'm gonna have to extend it a little. The pattern maker also included a document on like common modifications or how to make certain modifications, like extending it or like increasing the width of the side panels and stuff like that, which is really helpful. I have these two fabrics. These fabrics are from the land before time, before Joann's was ever, before we were ever made aware that Joann's was closing. So I have this golden pumpkin fabric, and then I also have this, like, I've been calling it the skulls and sunflowers. I don't think there's a single sunflower on here really. But essentially I want to use these two fabrics to make a reversible version of that set of stays. I'll also include a picture here if I haven't already on what the pattern looks like. But basically I want to take both of those fabrics and make a reversible pair of stays. I just think it'll make it a little bit more versatile for me, and I'll wear it more often if I have the options. I am slightly intimidated by that project though, I will not lie. The only thing I'm missing for it still is some binding, which I can just purchase pretty easily, and binding, ribbon, and what I'm going to use for the boning. A lot of people I've seen use heavy duty or industrial zip ties from Home Depot. I think I want to use actual boning stuff like plastic or spiral steel or something like that. Probably going with plastic, to be honest. But those are kind of the variety you have. I could easily make the binding if I wanted to. The problem is my sewing habit? No. My sewing stash, there we go, is not nearly as large as my fabric, oh my gosh, needlework stash. Like as you can see behind me, all of my yarn that's falling out of all of its cubbies. It's ridiculous. But my fabric all currently just fits in one decently really big bag, and that's all it is. So I don't have too much fabric. Part of it's also fabrics that I will realistically never really use again. So there's that as well as a factor. So some of these fabrics in general, or some of these patterns, I just don't have a lot of fabric for, or I don't have enough of the fabric I'd want to use for it. But so there's the Autumn Stays, and then there's a couple of items specifically from Mood Fabrics essentially, Mood Fabrics, or Mood as they're more commonly known as, is I believe a New York based fabric company essentially, but they also have something called the Society, like Society, that is all of their sewing patterns. And it also includes things like types of fabric that they sell that they recommend for each pattern, and blog posts kind of about each one. It's kind of like that. The first one is the Bluebell dress. I will insert that here. I think this would be a really cute piece in the capsule wardrobe because I feel like it can be worn on its own. I feel like I can, you know, wear a skirt over the skirt panel of it and still have it look really cute, and things like that. And then we have the Event crop top. Oh my gosh, I'm having a stroke here. I think this will look really cute with the like shorter skirt length, or even wearing the stays over it, or just a cardigan. This one maybe. I think would look really nice. I don't have a color scheme really for these two items. I also don't have a color scheme planned for the final item, which is the hibiscus robe, which is your standard 1950s damsel in distress robe. So it's one of those, and so I'm very excited to make it. But I don't have, one, any fabric that'll work with it, and two, I don't have any like plans or planned fabric like that. I also tend to be hypersensitive to what's it called, like lace or sheer fabrics. If they're not soft enough, my skin gets really irritated by them quickly. Also, sorry if you hear Mr. Gibster at all. He's a little bit of an itchy guy today. But essentially, those are the three like mood patterns that I want to use, or I want to make something with. I also mentioned in the capsule wardrobe video that I wanted to make a couple different skirts. I have one already, it's just pretty short. And I want to make one that's like just above the knee basically. This is just a standard circle skirt, so just go online and you can find a circle skirt calculator for like the different fullnesses. I like mine at 360 or full. And I want to use, I think, like a dark plaid or tartan colorway. I think it'll look nice. I don't think I said that word correctly, I'm being honest, but it's fine. You know what I mean when I say that, hopefully. Additionally, I want to make a, once again, kind of more of a basic item, but it's just a pinafore, which typically that's basically a circle skirt of some kind, and then a front panel usually, and then the straps that will connect to the skirt in the back. I want to make a pinafore because I just think that'll be a nice, smooth, like secondary piece for that capsule wardrobe. I also want to make a cloak, which I have a pattern for, which is really exciting, and I think I want to use like a dark green, like mossy or forest green color maybe. I want to lean more yellow green and not so much blue green, like emerald to blue green, things like that. I also have a pattern for that cloak, I think I said, and it's the Simplicity R12-15-9. It's part of their costumes line, if I remember correctly. Additionally, I also have a secondary pattern I want to make, which is the McCall M8195, which is another like dress essentially, but I could wear it as an overdress for like those longer shirts or longer sleeve shirts and things like that. I know that's only 8 items, but I honestly could not think of a 9th sewing item I wanted to make right now, just because I don't really know what I'm looking for. I've also mentioned in a couple other videos that I am going to the gym a lot more and stuff, so in general my clothes never really fit me well, so they probably won't fit me super well later in the year anyway. So I'm probably going to put most of my sewing projects on hold towards the end of the year, just to kind of, or like mid-year, just to kind of get a gauge of how I'm feeling and all of that. For the second set of my Make 9, it is going to be, firstly, I want to make a secondary Jessie May bralette, ripple bralette. It's the black top that I wear sometimes. I wore it in my Lambtown video, I believe, or I wore it to Lambtown at least. I want to make another one using this yarn specifically. This is the Baby Merino Drops in the colorway Petrol, or Drops Baby Merino in the color Petrol. I have 2 or 3 of those that I bought for my birthday this year, and then I kind of just completely forgot to make any projects for myself over the last year, really. I have a video coming about everything I've made this year for myself, my husband, and my dog. as well soon, but I don't know when that's getting posted in line with this. But I am planning to make a bunch more projects for myself, obviously, and one of those is being another ripple bralette. I did the largest size of the ripple bralette last time, and it's too big. The shaping's really weird because I did a size too large, so I think I can go down 2 sizes potentially, since this is a superwash yarn, and that will hopefully make it so it's a better fit for me. Additionally, I have a basic cardigan. I've been talking about this for like 2 months worth of videos. So the cardigan I was working on before this was that striped cardigan. I finally frogged it. It took me like 2 hours. But this is all of the brown yarn I pulled from the cardigan directly, and I also have a couple extra skeins of it too. And so with that, I'm hopefully gonna have enough to make like a cropped cardigan. I'm guessing I won't. So if needed, I will color block it with the green from that cardigan as well, which is this green here. It's kind of hard to see on camera, but both of these shades have a lot of like multi-dimensional tones. Like the green has a couple strands of like a deeper green in it, while the brown has a couple strands of like a deeper, like almost more like a chocolatey brown, not as like light, I guess. And so I plan to use hopefully only the brown or mostly the brown and going from there. I'm planning on doing a top-down raglan style v-neck cardigan for that one, which sounds like a lot, but is honestly a lot simpler in my brain than doing a bottom-up. I don't like bottom-up cardigans. They take too long. Cue the bottom-up cardigan I'm working on now. They just take a really long time, and I feel like I don't see progress as quickly, so I don't want to work on it as much. Next is the Wool and Pine Cottage Hair Accessories. So essentially, I want to have more little hair knickknacks. Basically is the whole reason that that pattern is even up on the list. I just want more hair accessories, and I want ones that I like a lot. And so I think I will really like these ones. I'm gonna use 2 yarns that my husband got me for my birthday this year. I almost said last year. This year, it's the Spin Cycle Rusty Rainbow, I believe. Rusted Rainbow. So you can see here, it's got a lot of tones to it. This pattern also includes a couple different things, like a scrunchie, a bow, and just like a ribbon, basically. So I want to use that, and probably some of this spare Malabrigo Rio in the color Glitter, just so that, one, I get rid of it. I get rid of the glitter because I have a whole extra skein of it still, and then I also just want to make use of what I have. If this video has been posted already, I am doing a yarn buy ban for all, if not most, of 2026. It just depends on how my year plays out, and we'll go from there. If you want to know more about that, look for that video, or I'll pin it above. Additionally, I really want to make a pair of socks for me and my husband. As many of you know, when we went to Lambtown, he picked a pack of yarn to make a pair of socks. I also picked a pack of yarn from the Dragonfly Fibers and Cannon Hand Dyes. His are these 2 blue tones, while mine are this like deep red brown and a like, I want to call it like antique for some reason, but it's got a bunch of shades to it in the larger skein. And I have a couple options here for my husband. I think I want to make his like an ankle style. He does have wider feet, so I'm a little bit worried about running out of yarn. / I've never made 2 pairs of socks using sock yarn, so I don't know realistically how much yarn I need for socks. That's a whole other problem for another day. So I'm thinking of making this pattern here, just because it's simple. It's kind of the style I'm looking to do. And then for myself, I think I'm looking at these Hermione socks. And so I think I would really like the Hermione socks. I kind of started doing that initially, and then I got really distracted with my markets and forgot all about it and frogged all of it. So that's fun. I also want to make a Tolsta tee, which is by Creabea, just like this pattern is, or some version of just like a general like shirt that's not like a, you know, crop or spaghetti strap. Like I want an actual like t-shirt basically. I'm not exactly sure what yarn I want to use for that yet. However, I do have a lot of, not a lot, I have various colors of the Plymouth yarn. It's 100% superwash merino, I believe, or superwash wool. And then if I have any more of the baby merino in olive, which is the green tone I showed you previously, I can also try using that maybe, just depending on how much I have left. Or just combining it with a couple other colors I might have as well. I don't know, the Tulle City is a little bit more in the air than anything else. And then we have the Falling Leaves gloves, which I saw Retro Claude make in one of their stash missing videos. It's one of their older ones for sure. I think it's in the same video or the video before the red, orange, and yellow like chevron shirt that they wear a couple times in their thumbnails. It's roughly around that time, and I have loved that pattern since I saw her make it. So I am going to use Drops Flora in this green color. I am a little nervous to use it because I don't love alpaca, but I think my problem with alpaca is like my chest is really sensitive to fabrics and things like that and materials. So I think it'll be fine for my hands, hopefully. And I have 2 skeins of that or 3 skeins of that, so, you know, gotta make sure I use it. Next is the Kathy cardigan, which I also talked about, I believe, in the Lambtown video. Originally, my plan for Lambtown for 2025 was to get yarn for either the Kathy cardigan or this cardigan. And I ended up going with this one because I just liked the color options more. However, I think next year my current plan is to make the Kathy cardigan or whatever project I end up seeing closer to the time. So I don't have any yarn plan for that yet, except for Lambtown next year, of course. My final on the list for sure, make 9, is the otter sweater for my husband. That video I think came out last week or a couple weeks ago. But basically I told my husband I'd make him this sweater that has an otter on the front. I'll note the original pattern if I can remember it, but basically it was a toddler sweater, like a baby sweater, and it didn't look like they had an adult version of this sweater when I was looking it up, so I basically guessed the graph at the toddler size and then sized the graph up to repeat each. Instead of it being 1 square wide, it's a 2 by 2 square wide for each pixel. Essentially is the big difference that I've done, which should make it long enough to fit, you know, my husband. So that's a project that I'm hoping it's either going to be his birthday gift or his Christmas gift this year, or next year, not this year. I'm frogging this thing, all right? I currently only have the very beginning of a raglan done, but I am frogging the entire thing because I realized, one, I don't know how to do color work in the round like this with a raglan pattern, and I think it would also just be easier on my brain if I did the pattern in panels instead. So that's gonna be my game plan. Shouldn't be too hard, hopefully. Shouldn't be too difficult though, but that's my game plan at the moment. I do also have 5 bonus items is what I've been calling them. It's just 5 additional projects that I can either trade in and out of place of where they currently are on the list, or if I end up really not feeling like making one of the projects, like I mentioned the Tulle City was in the air, this is like the secondary list in case I want to do something else. The first one is the Mr. Burb by Sarah Graber. I showed this pattern to my husband a while ago and he was basically frothing at the bit to have one. And so I want to make him a Mr. Burb. I have a couple projects for him that I'm making, like I mentioned. I have the otter sweater, and then also on this list for him is the Twisted Chomper. You can find that video pinned above, or if you want to search my channel for it. I believe it was I think it was his birthday in 2024, I made it for him. His favorite color is blue, so I want to make like basically a blue scale version of it. As well. He also said he wants like all the versions, so, you know, a yearly project, you know. Additionally, I would like to actually make the Daisy and Dime Ellison vest. I don't really know what yarn I'm planning to use for this at all, other than I have some cotton, like, it's not worsted, it's like an Aran weight, which is Aran or double knit, whichever one's right below worsted. I just don't know if it'll be too heavy. I think it will be. So fabric in the air. And then finally, second to last actually, I'm a liar. I want to make the La Knitterie, I can't say it, Sunday morning wrap. I originally kind of started making this with some scrap yarn I had, and then realized I would not have nearly enough yarn, so I frogged it. But it's just like a simple wrap, and I think it'd be nice for some of our colder days here. And then finally, we have the Carrie Westerman shawl for an art lover. So this is one of the only ones, this is one kind of goes flip-floppy with the Tulsa tee. Depending on how much of that green I have left, I'll either use the Tulsa tee or I will make this art lover shawl. It really just depends. Additionally, I think I forgot to mention it, for the otter sweater, the yarn I'm using is the Drops Daisy in both the navy blue and almond. I did do a complete guesstimate on how much yarn I would need. I think I bought a little too much, but I'd rather have too much than not enough. But that concludes this video. I'm hoping, in general, you'll see this in my goals for 2026 video, but in general, I'm hoping to make more stuff for myself, just because I don't do a lot of shopping or things like that for clothing, so I'm hoping to make more items for myself that I can wear more regularly and kind of fit in my wardrobe nicely, and this will hopefully get me started. But I hope you enjoyed this video. If you want to see me make any of these items or see my progress on any of these items, be sure to subscribe and or follow me on any of my social medias at Gibbs Handmade Goods. I have Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and I think that's about it. Regardless, I post on all of those for many different reasons. Instagram's usually my most easy to get a hold of me or see what I'm doing most frequently. I typically post there first. And I hope you enjoyed this video, and I will see you guys next time. Bye!